Hey, and good Friday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski coming to you from the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios here on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel. Yeah, we're doing our weather update a little bit early today. Got some family stuff I got to take care of this morning, but I wanted to make sure I took care of you guys and give you the latest and greatest information for the rest of your weekend and looking into next week. Now, before I get into this full report, if you're new here to the channel, let me introduce myself. My name is meteorologist Greg Majeski. Yeah, I'm a real meteorologist, not one of those TikTokers out there. And our motto here is real simple: to keep you informed, stay prepared, and not scared. And we don't treat every storm like the storm of the century, and we don't treat every storm like it's going to kill you. So if you want just straightforward weather information, it's going to keep you informed so you can make informed decisions, then please consider subscribing to our channel. I would love to be one of your weather choices out there. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. We got a lot to talk about. We're definitely shaping up. I think December is going to be an interesting month, to say the least. There's a couple of reasons for that we're going to talk about in this update here. But let's go over our conditions from yesterday, our highs and lows. Let's see what we had. Hollywood, Florida was our warm spot at 87. And Popular, Montana, Morgan, Montana, as well as Upham, Montana, were all -4, as well as North Dakota had Dunn, Watford City, and Killdeer. So that was our cold and high temperatures across the nation. We're getting ready for a pretty decent snowstorm here that's going to be coming in the middle of the country, and some of those totals can be pretty impressive. We're going to talk about that here coming up. And I think this is a pattern we're shaping up here as we go into the month of December, that it may be sticking around for a while. I don't know if you've ever heard the term omega block, but that might be trying to set up. I'm going to explain to you what that is here in a second. But what it does mean is a cold start to the month of December and potential for multiple snowstorms here going into the first week. Now, does it linger for the whole month or not? A little early to call on this. We were talking about that stratospheric warming event that was taking place about a week or so ago, and it's the fruits of that are starting to bear as we're looking at this cold blast. Now, what we're seeing right now is we're waiting for this developing storm system here that's going to be tracking some pretty heavy snows into this area here as we go in toward tomorrow, and that'll track into the northeast. It's just plain old cold here across the south. Many areas here down in North Georgia, where I'm at today, won't get out of the 40s for today. And then we're going to look at some multiple storm systems that are going to be bringing some rain here across the south, even a few thunderstorms here going into tomorrow across portions of Texas. So, like I said, we got a lot to get into on this update. Let's look at where those storm warnings are out right now. There you can see the winter storm warnings for our big snowstorm here, and also back over toward Montana as that storm begins to track out of the high plains, out of the mountain region and into the high plains there. And then eventually this will swing into the northeast as well. And this is just one, folks. I think we got multiple ones in the offing we're going to have to watch here. Now, some of that snow amounts there, you kind of see this on the radar here, kind of showing up here back over into the Dakotas. You see the purple here. This is your high snow risk, 4 inches plus. So you see this is back into the Dakotas, and you can see the stretches all the way down here into Des Moines and into Des Moines, Iowa, and into Portsmouth, Illinois. So this is our path here of some pretty good, decent snows that are coming through. In parts of Iowa, by the way, I think they're going to see areas getting over a foot. I really do, and there's a reason for that, and I'm going to show you that here in just a second. All right, now let's get into, I want to go ahead and show you the latest model data. Let's get into that first. We're going to look at the short-term models first, the intermediate model, we call it, the NAM model. We're going to be tracking you through here through this upcoming day tomorrow, today and tomorrow, okay? So let's go talk about that real quick. Oops, get on the right model there we go. All right, so here we go. There's our storm, there's our big storm system, okay? Now, as this thing is dragging across, it's going to be bringing some thunderstorms down across Texas. So here it comes. I'm going to slow this down for you here a little bit. Kind of watch as this thing pulls on out. So we're talking about Iowa. Really, it's kind of the ground zero for this. Looks like almost the entire state getting into this. Chicago, O'Hare tomorrow might have, definitely going to see some delays. Midway and O'Hare are going to have some problems here. And then we'll see a few thunderstorms. You see this down here toward the end here, going into tomorrow. You might see a few thunderstorms down here that might be severe down here toward Texas. So pretty intense storm there. I'm not quite blizzard conditions. It'll be just below that, I think, for the most part. But a pretty good, healthy storm here as this moves on to the east and then shifts up into the northeast and then eventually moving off the east coast. So it looks like we're in store for a very snowy end to the month of November, and I think that's just the start. We're going to get more of these coming in. So here's the rainfall totals, okay? Obviously, you see where the heaviest rain equivalent totals are in here. This is on the NAM going out to 1 o'clock on Sunday, and when you see all this this yellow in here, well, this is 1 inch water equivalent, okay? I mean, we're talking some very high. Here's an isolated one here, 1 3/4. So again, that is rainfall equivalent. Let's look at the snow total on this. Okay, wow, look at this. 20 inches of snow, 18 inches of snow. I mean, quite a bit. 22 inches of snow. So there's a very clear path here across central Iowa here showing we're talking about over a foot of snow or so. So quite a bit. I'm still fighting a cold, folks, so bear with me here. All right, so here we go. All right, so that's our first snowstorm coming in, all right? Now, let's look at the overall temperature here for the next couple days, taking you through the weekend. A lot of blue on this map. That means 32 degrees or colder, and boy, is it just going to sit around and expand, take up more real estate. And this is just this week. Next weekend could even be colder. We got another cold shot coming down here going into next weekend. So for the folks who think we're going to get a big warm up out of this, like another hit and run event, I don't think that's going to be the case here. Now let's talk about this weather pattern. I've got this looping. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly map. There's a couple things I want to point out here as we've got this kind of circulating off. What I'm seeing here, look at this big high that's shaping up here off the west coast. Okay, and then we got high pressure out here in the Atlantic. So it is opening up the door, the floodgates here for this cold air to just continue to funnel down. We call that an omega block because of the fact that it makes the omega symbol, all right? So I don't know if this is going to hold for any length of time or not. I've seen something like this in the past. 1989 comes to mind for me. I remember that year, pretty cold, where we got locked into an omega block and that cold air just kept intruding one after another across the east. Now, we'll say this, once that omega block went away, the rest of the winter was pretty mild, but the month of December in 1989 was brutally cold, and I don't know if we're going to see a repeat performance of that, but it's definitely looking in the cards. And the fact, another thing I want to point out is I'm also seeing indications of some disturbances that continue to ride along the Gulf Coast. So again, that'll open up snow possibilities here and into the Northeast as well. Again, depending on how the storm systems time up with the cold air. Okay, so that's going to be the thing we'll have to update and watch closely as we go into the month of December starting next week. All right, so let's go talk about the next 10 days. This is a 10-day loop here. All right, I don't want to go beyond about 10 days. So let's go ahead and track this initial snowstorm. Here it goes, going through the middle of the country. Again, we'll watch for some thunderstorms down there in Texas. There is a marginal risk for severe weather. I guess I should have showed that. So we'll just show you that here real quick. Again, going forward tomorrow. Again, we're talking about your day 2. So down here on the tail of that front, I see a few hefty thunderstorms here across Texas, Louisiana, parts of Arkansas, and southern Oklahoma. All right, so that's for tomorrow on the tail end of that front. So, all right, so let's go back here to the model data here, and let's track this on through. This goes on to the Northeast, get some snows there. Cold air settles on down in, and then we got another storm system. Here's another system on the Gulf Coast. This is for Tuesday. This will bring some much needed rains here across the south that needs it from the drought conditions down this way. That'll help out. That'll bring some snows as well, stretching right back into the Northeast. There's another snow event going into Tuesday. And then this pulls up to the north. And then the next weekend, boy, the bucket just dumps out. I'm looking up here. I'm seeing 492. This is below zero. Below zero temps up here, folks. Very, very cold. Coming in kind of early this year. This comes down the south, and then we get another disturbance kind of tracking out of the southwest. Hooks up with that cold air again. Here comes some more snow. Mid-Atlantic, Northeast coming in again. And this will need to be watched because the exact track, and this thing's a little bit closer, I think we get a more substantial snow event here across the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. Again, this is still about a week out. But this is some very, very brutally cold air here coming on down here. The freezing line is charging all the way to the Gulf Coast here on this one, going into the first weekend of December. And this pulls, look at the 540 line is down near Tampa. Wow, that is cold. That is cold. That's bringing 32-degree temperatures probably down toward the middle of Florida in early December. That is really something to see. So we are in store for a very active pattern here, guys. Again, here's your 10-day rainfall totals. See it across the country. Check out the 10-day snow totals. Wow, very impressive. You're talking about half the country seeing some sort of accumulating snow here over the next 10 days. Don't worry so much about those gray areas. That's kind of like traces and little things like there. But definitely that where you can see where the accumulation has become prevalent. So you're basically looking right through here. You're talking about quite a bit of the country here getting a lot of snow, especially the Midwest area getting pounded with that one snowstorm. And then we got multiple snow chances across the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. So a very snowy start to winter. Looks like it is in the offing. The question is going to be, is this stuff going to be sticking around? And check out the loop here. This is another 10-day loop again. I want to illustrate the point of this cold air that's just not going to go anywhere. I mean, it's something fierce, especially going into next weekend. Check that out, guys. I mean, we're talking, I mean, a lot of the country just staying with the below normal temperatures here. And look what happens here. This is going into next Sunday morning. I got 33 degrees down near Ocala, 30 degrees in Gainesville, 29 in Jackson. I mean, very, very cold. You got temperatures in the single digits across the Northeast, single digits across Iowa. We get any kind of snowpack on the ground, that's definitely going to help as well. So we get any kind of real good heavy snow. I think that snow that we're going to get across Iowa and Chicago, Illinois, it's going to stick around a little while because it's going to be plenty cold. It's not going to melt off very quickly at all. So that's what we're looking at right here. All right. So again, it's very, very heavy snow totals there. All right, let's look at your climate outlook. I do disagree with the climate outlook on one thing here. This one looks okay. I'm all right with this. But we'll see if the 12Z run Europeans continues the trend. This is from the 3rd to the 7th. I'm okay with this, but they try to rebound us back up here again across the Southeast, and I just don't know if I buy that. I just don't know. Again, the way the European is trending right now, I would say we stay cold across basically the eastern half of the United States. About to draw a line from this way. We're cold and probably warmer out in the west. I don't think, we'll see how it works out. We look at the afternoon run here today. Precipitation wise, just a couple, we got one little dry spot out there on the west coast, but either average or above average there. Definitely need the more active track there across the south. And it looks like that continues here from the 5th to the 11th. But we'll see what the Climate Prediction Center does with their long range outlook here going into the month of December. So it is definitely looking a little more active. Definitely a little more wintry, as you can see with the winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings we have out there today. I think we'll be tracking over the next 10 days, maybe 2-3 different potential snow chances coming in here, which of course gets kind of people into the holiday spirit. But again, let's just remember, we got to treat these individually. This storm coming up here, it's a pretty good one. That's a healthy, good storm system. You're talking 12 inches plus of snow this early in the season. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, it really is. So is this a conducive thing to show what the rest of the winter is going to be like? Not necessarily. I think this winter is going to be a little bit unpredictable. And part of it is because we're dealing with a weak polar jet stream and a polar vortex that's going to oscillate quite a bit. You know, right now it's oscillating on this side of the northern hemisphere. It could oscillate the other way and keep us warm. So again, I think it's going to be one. That was my winter outlook prediction, was a winter of extremes in between. But I think we're definitely looking at a cold and snowy start here across the northern portion of the North American area of our area here today. So get my mouth to work here. Anyway, who we got there this morning? Hey, brother, good to see you there. G-Bro, good to see you. All right. Brian, good to see you. Ryan, good to see you too. All right. Appreciate it, guys. I know the other guys will come up here a little bit later. I started a little bit sooner today. Like I said, I got a little family thing to take care of this morning, but I wanted to get this updated for you guys. So get ready for a snowy start to December. That's all I got to say. And get ready for the Christmas season. It's be here before you know it. All right. We'll talk to y'all later. You guys have a great day. We'll see you on Monday, and we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.